What's up, everybody? It's your friend Tyler here, and you're watching Geek Radar. So I'm going to get in it today with a spoiler-free and a spoiler review for The Last of Us Chapter 2. And before we start this thing, like, share, subscribe, and post your comments below and let me know what you all think. And hit that little bell so you know every time a new video comes out. Speaking of which of videos, the reactions are coming soon. I just got to get new programming and software. So that's going to be coming up soon. But today I want to talk about The Last of Us Chapter 2. I'm going to just call it Chapter 2. Fuck Part 2. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a spoiler-free and spoiler review. Now, people fucking hate this game. I don't know why. I really don't. I can understand there's some reasons why this game is so hated. I'm not gonna get into it with deaths or what happens with the story, but this game is a revenge plot, story-driven game. Now, if you like revenge stuff like I do, like The Punisher, you got Charles Bronson, you got, you know what I mean, with Death Wish, you got all these good characters with revenge. But the thing is you never really think about the circle of violence that happens with revenge, with something, you know. How it affects somebody mentally, personally, and who it affects everybody around you. So this game really engaged in that, and I really, really enjoyed that. To me, this game is a masterpiece. Now, a lot of people are going to hop all over this shit and be like, dude, you are totally wrong, but it's just my opinion. You know, I like what they did with the characters, and I like the new character they added. But I'm going to go ahead and say this, that the trailers won't tell you this or show you this, but this game you play as two different characters. This game is split up into two different parts. You play as the character Ellie, which we have known and loved since The Last of Us Chapter 1. I'm going to call it Chapter 1. And now we got this new character named Abby. Now, this Abby character, people have been hopping all over. We had a leak happened with the video game about a month before it came out, and it just totally put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. We heard about a death, and there was rumors about Abby being transgender because she's huge, you know, she likes to work out, and I'm just like, you know, I don't give a shit. I just gave a shit about who, you know, died. I was just like, no, you know, and but I'm not going to tell you on here, but then you started getting the people that was like, oh, well, somebody gets triggered by that tranny and all this shit. And it's like, look, okay, I grew up in a gym as a kid and teenager. It might not look like it right now, but I grew up around a lot of bodybuilders. And particularly because my mom had worked at a gym and spent all summer there. So I saw all types of bodybuilders of all color, sex, anything. And when you see women bodybuilders, the shit is no joke. It's like when there are people out there that just want to keep building and building and building, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like people might be like, "Oh, she looks like a man." It's like, no, man, she can do whatever she wants with her body. I'm telling you, Abby in this game, those muscles, whatever she was doing, whatever, I gotta know her workout. I gotta know something. But whatever she was doing, fucking worked, because this chick was the baddest motherfucker I've ever seen in a video game of beating people. Like, I've never seen somebody use their muscles like so much in a video game that I'm telling you, like, this game was very, very enjoyable. Now, there's a lot of things that I could say that with pacing issues, you know, there's a lot of characters that I would have liked to see developed a little bit more, you know, before they died, a lot of them. And there's a couple things, but the main thing with me is story-driven games, and I've been kind of turned off of video games lately because it's mostly been multiplayer with a short-ass single player, or it's just multiplayer games, and I'm somebody that loves a full, engaging story. If you can get me to cry during a video game, you have made a video game. You have made a good story. Now, this game had the fucking waterworks coming. Like, there's so many parts in this game you will never see what's coming. By the end of this game, me and Random Eric stayed up to about 4 a.m. He came over and we was like, dude, we're going to beat this before we get spoiled. And like, this game is so good. By the end of this game, I felt this was I'm not going to say the ending, but this was a very bittersweet ending. And when people say, oh, I don't know how they're going to Chapter 3 or Part 3 will happen, there's plenty of ways it can happen. It's a story-driven game, and they did it well. And I'm going to go ahead and give my final verdict for this. I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. People might call me crazy, an idiot, and say that the pacing issues, I should have been looking at the pacing issues. But I don't have, I had a little bit with the pacing issue, but I don't have a problem with the SJW, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't have a problem with transgender, the LGBT, none of that I give a shit about. So when I was playing this game, you know, these things were being brought up, and my buddies would be like, "Oh, that must be what they're talking about," and I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, this doesn't even register to me, you know, like, it's just everyday life. This type of shit doesn't bother me, you know. And there's a certain sex scene in there a lot of people were bitching about, and I was like, that ain't even nothing to bitch about. I was like, that ain't nothing. But I've seen a lot worse. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 9 out of 10. This was a great game. This was something that was fun. The story was extremely engaging. Had me crying, had me up before a.m. trying to beat it before I got spoiled for the ending. Which, if I hadn't had beaten it that night, I would have been spoiled that next morning because it was right there up on YouTube. But yeah, I give this a 9 out of 10. I highly recommend you go buy this game. If you have GameFly, rent it. If you're any other rental service, rent it, buy it, do whatever. I got 2 copies of it. I bought the standard, and then I bought the collectors. I loved it so much. And I was intently after the collectors all along, but with the reviews and stuff, they're more available now. So, but I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10, and thank you so much for watching the movie, and spoilers are coming up right now. Alright. 5. I'm going to wait to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you should be off the video by now if you don't want spoilers. Joel gets his head caved in with a fucking 9-iron. Abby tears his ass up. Shoots his leg off. Okay, now this was in the leaks. I knew Joel was going to die. When it came out that Joel was going to die, I think that was the biggest. I think the director of the game even said like it was one of the worst days of his life when that leak happened. Because it made the game sales, I mean, it's the fastest PS4 exclusive seller that I've seen. And it just, people want it to go off this, and then you hear, oh, a tranny kills Joel, and then you play as a tranny to kill Ellie, and it's just like, people were losing their shit. Now, I'm not going to lie, I was losing my shit, and I was losing my shit over Joel dying and then you killing Ellie at the end of the game. I was like, that's my problem. I don't give a shit what sexual orientation or whatever. I don't give a shit about any of that. It's like, you're killing my favorite characters, and why are you making a game if you're going to kill these 2 characters? I'm going to go into spoilers. I'm going to go ahead and hop to the end of it. Ellie doesn't die. So you have that on you. But this game, I mean, you see the revenge plot going around, and Ellie is straight out for revenge. And the worst, and I'm telling you, man, I love the Death Wish movies. I love the Punisher movies, stuff like that. But Ellie wears these people's asses out. She goes after Abby's full group, because Abby's group literally makes her watch Joel's head get caved in. And it is one of the most disturbing shit. If you've seen, like, The Walking Dead, with spoilers for The Walking Dead, Negan caved in Glenn's head. And it reminded me of that. And I was like, and it would have been more effective if I wouldn't have heard the leak. I would have probably been in the fucking floor. But, I mean, it was something that the story, I can understand the reason they did it. They wanted us to feel as angry as Ellie does, and me be more out for revenge for this Abby character. I'm not going to explain the reason Abby kills Joel, because I really want you to play the game. I don't want to spoil it too much. But there's reasons, but the one thing I did not like, I could say, that I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 for, was because Ellie ends up killing these characters before you get to know the characters. So while I'm playing as Abby during the second part of this game, I'm engaging with these characters, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, Ellie just killed them. I'm like, I want to know. It's like I want to know this full story. It just felt like they jumped the gun. It should have just been like, you know what I mean? They just could have did something better about that. That's the biggest gripe, is it should have just all came together at the end with the deaths. They shouldn't have tried to shock us before they got to Act 2, because once you hit to Act 2 and it goes to Abby for 3 days of the level in Seattle, you know, a lot of people are like, fuck this game. They're like, we've seen Joel, we've seen Jesse get shot in the face, and stuff like that, you know, and we've got all these new characters, and people will just put it down. And I'm just glad I wasn't one of those people, you know. And I can understand why you would put it down. Like, I really do, because if you're seeing your favorite character's head get caved in, I can understand. And I knew a lot of people I've worked with that had watched The Walking Dead, and the same type of situation. They're like, I don't want to watch it anymore because that was my favorite character, and he got his head caved in. And I'm like, you got to go a little bit further, know the motivations, know everything. And they're like, no, I still don't want to do that. No, I'm good. And that's how they are about this game. It's like once they heard that or seen that, they don't want anything else to do with it. I'm not going to call out anybody. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're wrong, you know what I mean, or anything like that. You're entitled to your opinion. You either hated it or loved the game. Now, I'm going to go ahead and skip to really that third act of this game, which becomes this cult that Abby's after. That you've saved these two children. I'm not going to get into their characters, but I really liked the way they done these characters. And you go after these cultists, and these cultists are sick, like and brutal. But and then there's another thing at the end. I'm not going to give away the ending because it goes to another loop, which I do think the game should have been longer and explain this group. But at the end of this game, your task is made. Ellie gets her ass whooped by swole ass Abby, and Abby's like, "Don't let me ever see your face around here. You killed all my friends. I never want to see you again." So I thought that was the end of the game. I was like, okay, Ellie clearly knows now. It's like you've stepped into something that's just way too much. But at the end of this game, I'm telling you, it made me scream. It made me want to scream at the TV. I was just like, Ellie, what are you doing? It's like you are losing everybody you love around you because of this revenge. It's like, I understand the grief is there. I could not imagine the PTSD that this game shows with Ellie going through this. I could not imagine that type of situation with revenge of wanting to kill somebody that did this to somebody you love so much and other characters that you've loved as well. So, and I can't really say, but the end of this game, there can be a chapter 3. Ellie pretty much loses everything she's loved. Her girl leaves her. Her family's gone, and it's pretty much, it's a bittersweet ending, and it's an ending that I thought it was really sad, but I was like, let's hope we get a chapter 3 or part 3. I'm just going to call it chapter 3. So we could finish this story. We can just wrap it up because I don't want to see this franchise being wrapped up with this second video game because there's so much more story they could tell. So go out and buy this game so it can give him more money, and hopefully you'll like the story as much as I did because, I mean, a 9 out of 10, that's really damn good. Like, because games just aren't story driven like they used to be. But if you like this review, like, share, subscribe, and comment below and let me know what you all think. And I definitely recommend you going out and buying this video game, renting it, or doing whatever because you should enjoy it. If you're a fan of the series, if you're a diehard, definitely check it out even if you know the leaks. Just check it out. Trust me, it's worth it. But yeah, a 9 out of 10. And like, share, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know what you all think. And until then, I'm your friend Tyler, and you've been watching Geek Radar. Peace out, guys.